It's Ashton from the Crypto Coin Show, and today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Trevor Bacon, co-founder and CEO of Parcl. Trevor, welcome to the show, and thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for having me, Ashton. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. I'm excited to dive into Parcl, real estate, the innovation in real estate. It's such a huge market moving into blockchain that I'm excited. I know you guys have a special twist on it as well. I would love to start off our conversation, first of all, hearing a little bit about your background in business, blockchain, how that all got together to start Parcl, and then we can dive into all the details.
Yeah. So my background, so Parcl started about 3 years ago, at least the initial idea. We've, as the team, officially started to come together probably in May of 2021. Prior to founding Parcl, I was a portfolio manager at a couple of hedge funds. One was a startup hedge fund. The other was a very large hedge fund. And then I started, and one more hedge fund before that. Always focused on TMT, or technology, media, telecom, mainly in the internet, software, and payment space. So that's how I became familiar and pretty close to blockchain over the course of my 5 years investing, given that crypto and blockchain really started to emerge in 2017 with Ethereum. And so that's where I started to garner an interest, invest, and became very familiar with DeFi. And before being on the buy side or on the hedge fund side, I was at a couple banks, Barclays and Lazard.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Great experience. And what interests you specifically in Parcl and this part of innovating in blockchain?
Yeah, so the actual idea for Parcl, it wasn't that we're like, we need a blockchain idea or we need a real estate idea. It was more that during COVID, there was a ton of real estate movement, right? Obviously, work from home changed the dynamics within the psyche of people. You could work from anywhere. And so what the result was that real estate prices started to move in ways they hadn't before. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sitting there, and one of our co-founders, Kellen, me and him worked together at the last hedge fund we were at, and we were like, I wish we could just go long Miami and short New York. We don't need the house. We don't need anything. I just want to get the exposure, just like we're trading Apple and Amazon and whatever, right? So it was pretty. So then we started to look into it. It was very surprising that there wasn't anything in this realm, right? Real estate is the largest asset class in the world in terms of wealth, and there's no liquid spot or derivative market for it. So the market's probably about $300 to $400 trillion. No way to trade it, at least from a derivatives perspective. Mm-hmm. Can only trade the assets themselves. So what's lived there before, and kind of our idea was like fractionalized or tokenized platforms or offerings. And those really, they struggle to scale because you need capital to buy the houses themselves. You need time to close the deal. So you could imagine over time, it takes a long time to get a portfolio that's fractionalized or tokenized. So we're like, all right, let's think of a different way here. Let's create indexes that track the price per square foot or price per square meter if you're overseas of real estate based on real estate data, and then have lively indexes where you can create a trading market. And at the same time this was happening, DeFi was emerging. DeFi summer obviously happened in 2020. New primitives, capital formation, ways in which to create tradable markets that weren't before. And then over time it evolved, and these decentralized perpetual futures contracts really kind of unlocked something for us over the course of our development, which has led us to where we are today.
Mm-hmm. It's an amazing concept, and I could see how that would play out after COVID, in just like the movement of people and offices to different parts in the United States, at least, having a platform like this where you could, as you said, long Miami, short New York. It's an amazing concept that I feel like a lot of people can understand easily, but because of those barriers in traditional real estate, it takes a lot of work to be like, hey, let's just do that. But in the old way, it would take months and millions of dollars and stuff. So is it just as simple as that? Maybe you could paint Parcl as a platform in more of a holistic picture. Do I just go there and I say I want to long an area, or you can go more finite than that? How exactly does it work if I want to start using the platform?
Yeah, I mean, from a user perspective, it is relatively simple. From a technology perspective, it's a little more. It definitely took a lot of time to get from to where we are from a platform or company perspective. But basically, what has been created is twofold. One was price indexes. So the state of price indexes or real estate price indices that we came across when we were starting this was pretty much the Case-Shiller, which in the U.S. is the major metro areas. That updates once a month on a 2-month lag. So it's pretty much impossible to create like a lively, dynamic market that keeps people's attention if it only updates 12 times a year. There are other indexes that update once a month. So the first thing was how can there be live updates at least daily? So that's where Parcl Labs comes in. That's the data affiliate of Parcl that has created price feeds for major metros in the U.S. We have, or Parcl Labs has a London price feed, a Paris price feed. And this is really kind of like the root or the moat of the product, given that we are completely unique in this capability, at least right now. We've been on CNBC with these price feeds, Wall Street Journal, Fortune, Forbes. So there is some brand recognition at this point. There's a lot further to go, but when people go on, the most important thing is, yes, you're trading the city, but what is being where does that price come from? It comes from Parcl Labs. Parcl Labs has price indexes that update daily based on the ground transactions in terms of sales and listings. So that's to start. The goal of Parcl Labs is to be the most representative price index in the world, and be the source of truth for real-time pricing analytics for real estate. So that's that. Then that price feed goes through an Oracle and on to the trading platform. And that is where, quite simply, users can go long and short cities and sub-cities. Like Brooklyn, for example, it's a borough within New York City that's available. So users can go long and short with up to 10 times leverage cities in the US, and then soon we have the price feeds for the UK, France, and we're adding parts of Asia and Canada actually, and those will be available sometime in 2Q, 3Q. But that's it. I mean, you connect your wallet, go long and short, and now you have exposure. You can create a portfolio. You can make a bet based on your view.
That's incredible, and it's nice that you're also able to do leverage if you have that much conviction in it. But that's exciting that you're able to expand easily. I feel like one of the setbacks of traditional real estate is trying to have access to the markets, especially if it becomes international. If this is something where you're able to make price feeds of different major cities throughout the entire world, and you're in one country, it's so much harder to invest in something that's in a different country than in your neighborhood. So I feel like
it's almost impossible for the vast majority of people.
Yeah, and this is something that should have been around before. I think it's overdue.
We agree.
And now, when you invest in something, do you simply make a position? So you just have some crypto. You don't necessarily. Are there limits or restrictions on what you can do? You can long and short at the same time. You have any amount that you're minimum or maximum that you can start investing in?
Yeah, so the primary, or really the only collateral, the only token that is actually used in the system is US dollar coin or USDC. So that's what you need to come with, and we're based on Solana. So you need the US Solana USDC. It's plentiful now, so it should be easy to find. So when you come to the platform, create an account. This is for the trading side. You could also provide liquidity and just be a passive liquidity provider. But if you're actually looking to get exposure on real estate, create an account. There's no minimum. Different markets have different, they have different open interests. So Miami being the biggest, Miami probably has about $15 million of open interest in it. So the reason why I say that is that, if you, just like any asset, if the markets are generally balanced right now at 50-50, long, short, 50-50, if a user comes in with a huge trade and skews the market, you basically have adverse impacts related to fees, funding, and price fill. But that's kind of the markets have been acting very well in terms of balance. So. But yeah, no minimum. You can long, you can short, whatever, however you'd like, basically.
That's great to know. And I've tested out Parcl myself a little bit. It seems pretty intuitive. I saw that there are Parcl seasons, and there's different seasons, and as the platform is evolving as well. Can you talk about what's the idea behind the seasons and where you guys at and what's coming next?
Yeah, totally. So in the blockchain ecosystem, is particularly on Solana, there's been points programs, kind of like a quantitative way to measure a user's input or impact on the platform and ecosystem itself. So we or the team rolled out we're having 3 seasons of Parcl points. The first season started on December 15th. It ran to January 26th. What we've said is that the season 2 will be shorter than season 1. And so that'll end probably in about 10 days or so. And then season 3 we still haven't given communication on season 3, but probably won't be longer than season 1 either. So, it's important to keep the communications here crisp. We don't want to run our points program forever. We are exploring perpetual points such that points will continue into the future. We're excited about what we can do. And then, I would just say stay tuned for more details on both season 3 and perpetual points.
Sounds good. And is there another tokenization play or some kind of NFTs that are also involved in the properties or in investing?
From our, well, we do have an NFT. It's called the Homeowners Association. If you own it and have it in the wallet that you're either trading or providing liquidity in 4 points, you get a boost on your points. In terms of an actual product, which you may have been referencing, like bringing houses or other assets onto Parcl, it's possible. It is possible in the future. Again, I think the team is really focused on scaling this liquidity right now. I think if you get a liquid derivatives market, you can do a lot because it unlocks a secondary market for providing fractionalized assets. You can't right now. It's very hard to have a secondary market for a house, for example, because you cannot peg the secondary price to anything. There's no price index. So I think in the future, this could unlock a ton of liquidity within the actual on the ground, both from a hedging perspective from institutions, but also from a fractionalized perspective, more on the retail side that a lot of people have tried to do. But right now, the focus is international markets, getting those up, wrapping the formal points seasons up. And there's a lot to do there.
Yeah, definitely. And what do you see as the strategy in getting the open interest in these major cities to hundreds of millions of dollars? The real estate industry is so big. Obviously, it's going to take a while for it to move into blockchain. But I feel like that's something that's very, it's accessible with the right doors that are opening. Is it just more cities, more awareness, more time for real estate investors to adjust to the easiness and the usefulness of Web3?
Yeah, it's a combination of all of those, I would say. The current implementation, price feeds coupled with a perps platform seems very attractive for an asset class like this. The way we're organically building open interest and liquidity in the system by leveraging our current community, which we're very grateful for. We love them; they've stepped up huge, and we want to keep building for them. Over time, I think there would be more interest. The ETF approval, for example, it kind of stamps it. Okay, blockchain is here. There's a lot more regulation that needs to happen, but you can imagine that as that comes to be, that we can onboard a lot more people and a lot more money. I mean, most of the money is frankly institutional and on the sideline. They can't play. So that's really something that is pretty much out of our control, but we want to be there when it happens, and we want to help however we can. I think the first instance is we have a product that is completely novel, that is interesting to you, and you can wrap your head around. So that is a start, and I do think that we'll be a major player in helping onboard institutions and people outside of the current user group.
No, that's that. It's very exciting to get the platform to a point that perfectly times in with the regulation of major institutions that love real estate, because there's some big players that have made all of their capital with real estate. If you're ripe for entry when that regulation comes in, then I feel like there'll be a huge explosion. So it's just a matter of staying on top of the game and continuing to evolve.
That's the whole game.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned a few updates about the seasons closing, more cities. Is there anything else that Parcl users or people that are interested in real estate may expect that's sort of part of the plan for the rest of 2024?
Yeah, to start, we're next week. So this is whenever this goes, but next week is we're launching a couple new cities, and then we'll continue to roll out U.S. cities, and we have international markets coming in probably late 2Q would be my guess. International markets will come in late 2Q. We have the 3 seasons of points. Season 2 is going to be wrapping up shortly, probably around the time this podcast is announced or distributed. And then season 3 will probably last, in a mix between season 1 and season 2. So it won't run on forever. We have a firm date in mind, and we'll keep everyone posted. But there's going to be a lot probably right around the time this podcast drops.
Amazing. And where are the main places that people can go to follow with those updates as they come out and speak to other people in the community and also try out the platform?
So yeah, so Twitter is where the majority of our distribution is. The handle is at Parcel, Parcl. Then Discord. Any questions? Community. There's a ton of moderators in there. We're always in there. The team. I mean, to answer questions, clarifications. Always any major announcements are posted on Twitter and then reposted in Discord if people don't see one. So making sure that it's canvassed. The website, at least for the application, app.parcel, parcl.co, so app.parcel.co. And yeah, the onboarding is seamless. So those are the main outlets. I would say follow us on Twitter for sure, because there's going to be a lot of good announcements in the coming weeks.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Trevor, for coming on, taking the time. I'm excited to see the next season and the growth of Parcel and real estate in blockchain. It's a huge industry that is just barely touched right now. So all the best to you and your team on bringing real estate to reality in Web3, and let's definitely follow up in the near future.
Definitely. Thank you for having me, Ashton.